I am still reading now part 6 of the autobiography of David Smith. He's still afraid that if he doesn't hurry up and write it, it won't get written. So he's cowardly, afraid. In elementary school, we used to play dodgeball. You ever hear of dodgeball? You know how to play dodgeball? It's a very simple game actually. You throw the ball at the team across the way. If you hit them, you see they're out and they have to go to the back. But of course, if you catch the ball, that's not being out. That means, I think you're not out if you catch it. Then you throw it back at the others. If you hit them, they're out. They go to the back, and then they can throw at you from the back. It's a very simple game, but kids...
Can you hurt somebody?
No, you're just throwing a rubber ball at people, I guess. I mean, can you be hurt? I suppose, but kids back then were tough as iron. We used to go back on the farm. We went out and went frog hunting. We went out into the swamp and took flashlights and caught frogs. We later ate them. They tasted like chicken. What they taste like? A bit like chicken. We used to Dad took us camping in the green truck to East Harbor and Lake Erie. The green truck is just a farm dump truck. We slept on the bed of the truck in the back. I remember the wood floor of the truck. Later, we rented a Nimrod camper and went to places like Lake Hope, Old Man's Cave in southern Ohio, Silver Lake, Michigan. As a bigger kid, I liked sand surfing on Silver Lake, Michigan. We had a wooden board and we slicked it up with paraffin. There were big sand dunes that we could surf down.
Why did you put paraffin?
To make it slippery. You put the board, you make it slippery, and you slide down the sand dune like you're surfing. Here I am with the family, and here you can see the 70s, the effect of these clothes are wild. Look at the clothes Alice and I have on. This is Paul, my mom, my dad, Anna, Richard, Dale, Scott, me, and Alice. You can see the young evergreen trees in the back. They're gigantic now. My guide at the bedtime was my older brother Dale, who'd explain things to me at bedtime. Of course, I don't know. He has wild stories. I don't know to what degree they're actually true anymore. So, my goodness. I loved meat, and we ate things like meat and potatoes. So, I initially thought of myself as a meat hog. My diet was mostly meat and potatoes. I was a meat hog. The diet was a bit like the English diet. There was almost the opposite of what my diet would be later. It was not until my 16th birthday that I even experienced ethnic food, where I went to Tiffin with Dr. Pillar and family to a Chinese restaurant. We used to have a garden, though, and we'd have string beans and sweet potatoes, and potatoes from the garden. We also had chickens and fresh eggs. My mother made apple pies, while my grandmother was known for her banana nut bread. We had a cow and a milk strainer. We drank milk like it was water. There was almost never any alcohol in the house. There's my grandmother with her banana nut bread. Things were not so luxurious, serious in the early years. We would put wood for fuel and burn wood in the basement for heat. We had one bathroom for a family of 9. Richard, Dale, and I used to take a shower in the basement. I had to stand freezing as we took turns in the shower. They would put me under the cold water faucet for amusement. After the shower, we'd stand on the heat register to warm up. For vacation, we traveled to places like Jamestown, Brandeisburg, and Niagara Falls. I used to tie thread to make spider webs all over the rooms upstairs. My father would come up at night to put us to bed, but he would fall asleep before us. He had had polio, so had so-called post-polio syndrome, where he gets tired and takes cat naps. He was often in his reclining chair taking a nap. I would tie a plastic spider, with a thread to the bed, where he laid down and would lower the spider down on him at night with a thread. There's my father with the mother. In the early years, we had chickens, and Dad would cut the heads off the chickens, and they would run around for a while with no head. We all joined 4-H and had church social events. We camped at Camp Conger for 4-H camp. At church camp, we played a game of Foursquare. A simple game where you bounce the ball back and forth, and I seem to enjoy it, though. You can find an amazing number of variations to the game at foursquare.org. And here I am playing Foursquare. Later years. Yeah, that's cool. You still like Foursquare? Well, for me to synthetically make myself young, I do things that I did when I was young. I remember sitting in the car. Sitting in the car while my adults went up to the hospital to visit Grandma Smith. She died before I got to know her well. I remember the kitchen at Grandpa Earl's and having watermelon outside and the old corn grinder in the barn. I used to play with my cousins in the attic. The attic was full of clothes and buttons and various odd things for children to play with. I was in band and played the trumpet. I used to play in the barn, running from piles of stacked bags to piles of stacked bags while making Devil, our dog, rambunctious. Devil was a beautiful collie dog whose father was a show dog, but he was rejected to be a show dog because his ears did not fold over at the top like a perfect collie. At night we played kick the can. Here's the farm. There's the pond. There's the barn. We used to play run to the bags, and we'd make Devil rambunctious in the barn. We played kick the can here in the yard. And this is the little road to Steuben over here. Up in here, we thought that Walt Disney's mother, she had lived over in this town, Steuben, Greenfield Center. I liked going to the Willard Library. Once I started playing Clementi sonatas on the piano. It was not long until I was playing Beethoven. Beethoven was my inspiration in those teen years. I loved playing Beethoven sonatas. I would play them fast and loud. First stage of life was like an innocent, isolated, rural existence. In junior high, 7th, 8th grade, I liked to play ping pong. And at lunch hour, while listening to Tracy, When I'm With You, la da da da. Certain songs can connect you to that time. It says here, Tracy, when I'm with you, something you do bounces me off the ceiling. Tracy, day after day, you're this way. I get a loving feeling, come with me. Don't say no, hold me close. Tracy, never let go. That's from Paul Vance, the Cufflinks. But anyways, we'd have this thing where we'd play ping pong and listen to music. I played Bridge Over Troubled Waters, the Simon and Garfunkel, on the piano. I played Chopin Nocturnes and Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata and the Waldstein after dance at the junior high school in Willard, I walked out to the baseball field holding hands with Mickey Smith. Whoa. Back then, just holding hands, it seemed like your hand was on fire. I dated Kathy Carney, a blonde girl who lived near the drive-thru near Main Street at
Maybe
22.
put the names of the girls.
Why, dear? Later, I made jokes about Willard drive-thru, saying they made drinking and driving easier. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. It's amazing you could drive through and a place and pick up a beer. So as a freshman, okay. There's this town, Sallyville. Willard is known for growing onions, radishes. Sallyville is known for onions, radishes, lettuce, and sweet corn. I'm gonna stop here with this part. Maybe pick it up again here. End of. There is the house again, and there is that song. End of part. What was it? 6. Now this is the junior high years or something. I'm reading from the autobiography of David Smith, which is gonna be completed when's it completed? How long is he gonna live? Do you know? So we don't know, so he's just wrote 1 to 40 because he's not sure.